The Harley-Davidson X440. It's the new made in India Harley-Davidson, the first product of the Hero MotoCorp Harley-Davidson partnership. At under 3 lakh rupees ex-showroom, it's definitely affordable. But should Royal Enfield be worried? And does this single-cylinder Harley offer a better ride experience? Those are some of the questions I had in mind about the X440. Questions which I intended to answer after spending a few days with it.
Hello and welcome to Car and Bike. Today we have with us the new Harley-Davidson X440. New, yes, but it's been launched in July this year. And finally we have it with us for a full road test review on everyday riding conditions. We'll talk about how the new Harley-Davidson X440 is. It's the most approachable, most affordable, entry-level Harley-Davidson made in India by Hero MotoCorp. What's good about it? What would have been better? And if you're in the market for a retro-style roadster, should you be considering the Harley-Davidson X440? We'll talk all about it, its design, its handling, its performance, but more on that a little later. Before that, may I request you to please like the Car and Bike channel, hit that bell icon and subscribe to it so that you get notified every time we bring you something from the world of cars and bikes.
As soon as you fire up a 440cc single-cylinder long-stroke engine, the X440 lets out a nice low rumble. Acceleration is effortless from as low as 2000 RPM and the engine doesn't shy from revving towards its over 6000 RPM red line. But what's immediately likable is the low end tractability rather than outright acceleration. The 6-speed gearbox offers slick and precise shifts, and whether you're riding in traffic or out on the highway, the X440 does come across as a relaxed, enjoyable companion. It's not quick, but the way that the engine delivers all that torque certainly makes it impressive.
So let's talk about the performance of the Harley-Davidson X440's 440cc single-cylinder air and oil-cooled engine. Now, what immediately impresses you is the way this engine delivers its torque. Right from 2000 RPM to 4000 RPM, there's a strong surge of torque. What that means is that you get lots of pulling power in each and every gear. You can short shift, sit at 55 kilometers per hour at 6th gear, and it will pull cleanly from as low as 50-55 kilometers in 6th gear. And that surge of torque means you actually find the performance quite enjoyable. You don't really need to explore the top end performance. Now, in terms of performance, of course, top speed, I saw a speedo indicator top speed of 137 kilometers per hour, but it's not happy beyond 5000 RPM. You will feel some vibes beyond 5000 RPM, but 4000 RPM, you will sit at around 90 kilometers per hour, which is quite nice, 90-9500. And the sweet spot of this motorcycle is between 90 and 100. And 2000 RPM in 6th gear, you will hit about 55-60 kilometers per hour. 3000-3500 RPM, you'll already be at 75 kilometers per hour. By the time you inch closer to 4000 RPM, you are beyond 80 kilometers per hour. So between 2 and 4000 RPM is the sweet spot of this motorcycle, and the strong surge of torque makes the Harley-Davidson X440 really enjoyable. To me, this reminds me of the old 500cc standard cast iron Bullet, but of course this one's got a slightly wider power band. The torque is similar in terms of the delivery. It's very powerful, pulls like a locomotive, and this one is of course much more refined than the old Bullet standard 500cc engine. Well, in terms of top end performance, we've already talked about it. This bike is not about chasing acceleration. You ride the torque, you will enjoy it, and the exhaust note is quite likable.
The suspension setup with the 43mm upside down fork and twin shocks offer good balance and ride quality. Show it a set of corners and the X440 is surprisingly stable and well balanced. It feels light and nimble, and when you're pushing it around a corner, you will not be disappointed. The big 320mm front disc with standard dual-channel ABS offer more than adequate braking performance. In all, in dynamics and braking, the Harley-Davidson X440 offers more than adequate performance.
Now let's talk about the dynamics and the ride quality. This one certainly can handle, but it's let down by foot peg clearance. You can really go bonkers on a twisty road, and the X440 stays planted around a set of corners. Handling is quite nice, dynamics are sorted, so in terms of balance, the X440 doesn't disappoint. The ride quality, although it's on the firm side, is not stiff enough to make you uncomfortable. It will go over potholes, the odd broken patch quite nicely, so you won't feel those jerks.
I do it for the love, they perform for the checks, and I still get more, they be bored by the...
But what is a bit of a letdown is the front suspension, which tends to bottom out if you hit a pothole at speed. But overall, ride quality is firm but nice, and the handling is the biggest takeaway of the X440. It may not look like that, but the handling and dynamics are spot on.
The X440's design has some typical Harley-Davidson elements, but it's a modern take alright with its wide handlebars, LED headlight and rather different design elements. The fuel tank, side panels and the seat all blend angular modern elements yet retain the Harley signature, which seems to be inspired by the old XR1200. The steel trellis frame uses the engine as a stress member, and while the frame may offer good balance and stability, from a visual perspective, the steel tubes seem far too many. The single-port TFT instrument console oozes premium appeal, and in the top variant, it boasts of more connected features. Quality and finish levels overall are pretty good, but the design is something of a hit and miss. It's a subjective thing really. Many will immediately like the design, while others may take time to warm up too.
So now let's talk about the design, the most polarizing factor about the Harley-Davidson X440. Now opinions are divided about how it looks. You have to make your own opinion about what you think of the design. Do let us know in the comments what you think about the looks of the Harley-Davidson X440. For me, initially I wasn't so much a fan of the design, but over time, the more time I spent with the design has sort of started growing on me. The silhouette, the fuel tank shape, the basic silhouette is inspired from Harley's old XR1200. So it's a typical Harley-Davidson design, so to speak, but the takeaway is that this motorcycle manages to stand apart from the other roadsters, the classic roadsters that you see in the market in the same segment, like the Royal Enfields, the Jawas, the Hondas and the Triumphs. So in terms of design, it does manage to stand apart. What I don't like is the way the frame has been designed. It sort of covers the engine. I like the engine exposed, but that's up to you, your personal choice. What could have been better, overall fit and finish are quite acceptable, but what could have been better are the cabling and the wires, which could have been concealed to give it a more neat look. And well, that's how it looks, and I've tried to look at it from different angles. Which angle looks the best to me, I still can't wrap my head around it. But yes, the takeaway is that you may not like it at first glance, but the more time you spend with it, the X440 does begin to grow on you. It does look different from anything that you see in the roads today, so that's its biggest strength. But is it beautiful? Do let us know in the comments.
The Harley-Davidson X440 certainly has an attractive price point, but it's a fact overshadowed by the launch of several other models like the Triumph 400s as well as the new Royal Enfield Himalayan. Perhaps the biggest drawback is that its price to value proposition will be lost this year amongst more talked about motorcycles which will launch immediately after it. But there's no denying the fact that the X440 is a motorcycle which certainly has its strengths, and it certainly makes a strong statement as a well-rounded product.
So if you're looking for a performance-oriented roadster with a high-revving engine, the Harley-Davidson X440 is not the bike for you. But if you like your engine stocky, you want to go for a relaxed ride, you want to ride in the city without changing gears too much, then this one has got dollops of torque, which will make it really enjoying. You don't need to change gears too much in traffic, and that rush of torque makes the Harley-Davidson X440 very enjoyable to ride indeed. Yes, it may not have top-end performance, but that torque, that pulling power is what makes the X440 special. And if you're a fan of Royal Enfield, the kind of power, the kind of torque that delivers, this one is more or less like that kind of a flavor, but in a different design language. And of course, the engine is also very smooth and refined. So if those are the qualities you're looking for with a characterful engine, then the X440 will not disappoint you.
The Harley-Davidson X440 has a lot going for it. Torquey engine, good dynamics and a price tag which is attractive and affordable. It's an impressive motorcycle, there's no two ways about it. And as a product, it has everything going for it. The only thing that remains to be seen is how the Indian consumer reacts to this affordable made in India single-cylinder Harley-Davidson.